Hi guys, welcome to Side Eye Pod. This is the very first episode, and I'm really, really excited. I'm Marlene, by the way.
I'm Marina, and we are so excited. Well, you said we are so excited
so
to be here,
excited.
mainly because this has been in the works for so long. We've been talking about starting this pod for literally ever. I think like a year at this point.
I think a year.
Yeah.
Because I think we've been having so many conversations that we honestly should have recorded so many of our conversations.
I know our FaceTimes.
It would have made so
We'd have to bleep a lot out.
Yeah,
and like
a lot.
Cut a lot of stuff about a lot of guys, but it's fine. But it's like, it is what it is. It'd be, Marlene would text me on any given day, like at least once or twice a week, like, hey, can I call you right now? And I'm like, oh, finally.
Please,
I'm like, this is my favorite time of day. What
My
are we
show is
hashing
on.
at?
My show is on.
My show is on, but I'm the show.
No,
We're the
literally.
show. And we would literally just talk about everything under the moon, from like, I don't
Politics,
know. Politics, career, like
everything.
the most like girl coded conversations, obviously, but then we both like went to school for politics. We both like worked for electeds. These are our careers.
Yeah.
So like we both just had this lens that was very, very similar. Like Marlene, sorry, what did you study?
I did international social policy at LSE in London. And so that was a really incredible experience, like getting more of an exposure to more global policy frameworks in the global south, but also even just trying to understand international development work. Like my entire goal was to go work for a multilateral. Like I did a very brief UN LSC thing. And, I later did my thesis on incorporating more international frameworks into mental health policy. But anyways, I think what I really did appreciate about you was you having that IR, that international lens, but also
Yeah, well, we're
just how
both like
thoughtful you were.
diaspora kids. You know,
Yeah.
like we're like you're
I'm Mexican American.
yeah,
and
you're Mexican
you're?
American. I'm Serbian Canadian. So I was born and
Amazing.
raised in Canada. So yeah, like Toronto's here. But like it just makes such a difference to be like the child of immigrants or the child of
100%.
people who, you know, weren't originally from the place that you're currently living. It just adds like a different lens to your worldview. And that's, I think, what we really bonded over.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like as we talk and riff and like go back and forth on all these topics, we had such similar analysis. And then we would really build off of each other's analysis and like offer perspectives that just grew both of our like opinions
Worldviews.
and
Yeah.
worldviews. Yeah. And we realized like, oh my God, this is like the best for a friendship. Like it's so nice for a friendship, but it's also so cool if we just recorded this.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
And I think
that's why we're here.
No, and I think it's also just like the fact that we both really found a lot of commonalities on what it's like to navigate spaces where, you know, there's a lot of discourse around conservative Latinos and how do you reach that community? How do I reach my community? And you were having very similar struggles in your community as well. Like, how do you raise these more leftist, economic, populist messages to our community that makes them want to engage with more progressive discourse? And you were just like an amazing sounding board for that.
So were you. They would like it really like I would say that like I'd be like, oh my God, is this a crazy idea? And I'd say it to you and be like, no, it's not crazy
it's
at
common
all.
sense.
Literally, I'm like, okay, I feel crazy in my community, but I swear it's not. Yeah, very similar experience. Like with like the amount of Latinos who voted Trump in the last few elections, but like in my community as well, like I grew up entirely surrounded by people who voted right wing and voted conservative. And so I was the lefty, like the only progressive. And it gives you a thick skin, yeah, but what it also results in is, you know, 10, 15 years of, I don't know, me having a political conscience more or less so, where you're listening to people who have completely, you know, opposite, let's say like opinions in terms of like who they end up voting for.
Yeah.
But then you look at what their actual like baseline struggles are and what the things are that they actually have issues with, the things that they want to see different functioning in society. And it's not all that different from anyone who's on the left, anyone who votes for a progressive candidate.
Absolutely.
So I think that was kind of like what really pushed me to do something like this with you. Cause I was like, we have the same goal, and that's to reach these disenfranchised voters who just think that there's, you know, no other alternative other than Trump, for example, when really we can achieve better things. Better things are possible.
Better things are possible. Yeah.
Better things are possible.
But no, I mean, everything you said to a T, I've definitely been able to see what's been happening to my community and just realizing that there are a lot of grievances that aren't really spoken about directly. It's kind of it's kind of glossed over. It's not taken seriously. You know, I think there's a reason why the word affordability is such a big thing right now in this current moment, because people want to have their anxieties be looked at and be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is what culminated in us doing this pod.
Yeah.
And us having just a space to talk openly about what's happening internationally, but also nationally, and giving our own, like, more, I guess, given our backgrounds, working for electeds, working in politics, working in adjacent spaces, and providing much more of a, hopefully, like a helpful analysis and framework for folks who are listening.
Yeah.
So
I will add another, like, villain origin story, hero origin story. I'm like,
villain.
which one are we?
Is it
Villain.
Joker origin? I don't know. Sorry.
I'm gonna stick with villain, just because we're both wearing black. Of course, we're both wearing black.
We're deep winters. Deep winters. My color theory. I have to, like, yeah.
Anyway, the other part of our villain origin story is, as everyone has known and everyone's seen, a lot of political commentary online is deeply reactionary, and there's a lack of substance and intentionality, which we really, really want to bring to the conversation, because it shouldn't just be something that you're turning your phone on, opening Instagram, and you're, like, getting angry or getting stressed. Like, that's not the reaction that we're trying to bring to people. Like, we're trying to get people to think a little bit more, offer different perspectives, and all of that kind of to counter the way that political commentary has gone online, which is just, like, nuts right now.
Yeah.
So that's, like, another part of our villain origin story, I feel like I should say. But
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think also just being more accessible, period.
Yeah,
That
big time.
matters, like, so much to me and from my specific, the community that I come from. Sorry, guys. I do have a stutter, so disclaimer.
So do I.
Really? Okay,
I stuttered. Wait, you never noticed my stutter?
No.
Actually?
Yeah, I've never noticed it. I've had to be very so I sang so much when I was younger, and I still sing here and there, but I think that was kind of a very therapeutic thing that I didn't really notice, because my older brother had a really horrific stutter. Like, he could not fully order without stutter. Anyway, sorry.
No.
I'm going off track.
This is so interesting to know, because I also used to sing when I was little. I can't say I don't have a good voice, but, like, literally same. Like, it was like vocal, like,
it's like speech therapy.
Yeah.
Okay,
And wow, that's so funny.
And I didn't know that. So now I think when folks are like, Marlene, you have, like, you're very insightful. I love your content. I'm like, yeah, because I have to sit and think about what I have to say in order to avoid stuttering.
Yeah.
And yeah, but anyway.
This is a stutter safe zone. I will be stuttering too. I think, I don't know why mine happens. I don't know why yours happens, but I feel like mine happens because my brain moves faster than my mouth.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, I've already thought of the 18 different things I want to say, but, like, my mouth, like, can't keep up, and then it's just blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the other night when we were playing?
Yes.
I physically said, I tried to get out a sentence, and the sentence made zero sense. Like, it could.
I saw your eyes get wide, and I was like, Marina, just say it. Say it.
So yeah, it's funny. Well, yet another thing we have in common. But because this podcast is called Side Eye, we're side-eyeing so many things right now.
Yeah.
We have our daily side eye, our weekly side eye. I don't know. We're side-eyeing right now.
Yeah. If folks want to if you want to drop a comment, do you want to hear a daily side eye or like a weekly side eye? I think I'll go with daily. But
yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what
we'll see.
say.
We'll see what makes sense. I would say what I'm side-eyeing right now is my Apple AirPods. Everyone talks about how, when the new iPhone comes out, all of a sudden your old iPhones stop working, and, like, it starts glitching, and everyone's like, oh, of course, Apple's just trying to make more money.
The planned obsolescence. I think that's the term, right? When things go obsolete and they're trying to just raise their profit margins. But continue, Marina.
No, exactly. But I would extend that to the AirPods. This is the third year in a row, like, no exaggeration, like 1, 2, 3 years in a row that the second my warranty expires on my Apple AirPods Pro, they start breaking down. And it's like the same problem every time. Like, only one of them will connect, or, like, they start to get this, like, nails on a chalkboard, like, screechy sound anytime it plays sound. And 3 years in a row, I bring it into Apple, and they run their little diagnostics, and they're like, yeah, we can fix this and this and this for $150. Or you can just get a new pair. And you're like, I guess I'll get a new pair. And it's annoying because they're supposed to last longer than a year. Like, and so that's just, like, another way that I guess they're making money. That and, like, tiny little incremental improvements to products that
are negligible and, like, don't even matter. It's that, like, kind of, like, functionality that I miss from like our everyday appliances.
Yeah.
But it's done purposely because they want our
Money.
or things to go obsolete so they can continue
They
iterating.
want to provide value to shareholders.
Period. Yeah.
Most important thing you can do in today's day and age. Anyway, what are you side-eyeing right now?
I'm actually currently reading about this right now, but I got like a little ping about ICE. Apparently, they just admitted to using like a massive surveillance. Well, they have this like massive surveillance web. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's like for the first time ever, ICE they indicated last week that they're using graphite. So,
Sorry, what's graphite?
it's basically like I think it's a surveillance agency or a surveillance company.
Yeah.
And so it's a spyware.
Oh, okay, it's spyware. Okay.
Yeah, and
okay,
it was
okay.
created by an Israeli company called Paragon Solutions, of course.
Naturally.
Of course. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
But yeah, so that's what I'm side-eyeing this week, and I'm going to have more information on this later, you guys, because I'm just catching up. But yeah, they acknowledged it that they're using this very, very powerful Israeli spyware. So what the fuck?
yeah. No, of course. It's like you hear things like that, and it's like you need more information, obviously, but there's also like you know exactly what kind of information is going to follow this. Like you know exactly
Absolutely.
what you're going to hear next, and you know it's not going to be. Not to say it's not going to be good is like.
It's so redundant. It's like,
Yeah.
of course it's not going to be good. Of course.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna talk about the news right now. Because there's
There's so much happening.
When is there not so much happening? It's been like a year plus of so much
Yeah.
happening. Where were you yesterday when you saw the Truth Social post on Iran?
Honestly, I was seeing the reactions first. I logged onto Instagram super early yesterday, and all I saw was like people saying what's happening, and I had to like actually take a beat and go and like read what he had posted. Him saying he wants to end an entire civilization. This was like, yeah, I'm still trying to process that and trying to process the later ceasefire that was done later on that night. I don't know. I'm still trying to process. I mean, where were you?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where I was. I think I was having my omelet, but it's one of those situations where like when I see that Trump posted something on Truth Social, so far, like I've kind of just believed everything I say. Like I'll see the post and I'm like, oh, okay, this is probably what he said.
Yeah.
But the last few, like from the praise be to Allah, and then we're gonna wipe out the whole civilization,
Jesus, yeah.
whatever. I've like physically had to log into Truth Social to double check myself. Like it's not
Yeah.
enough that other people are posting it, so it's like, oh, it probably is real. Like I need to go browser, pull up Truth Social, and see that he actually posted it because I'm like, this is.
It didn't seem real.
Yeah, you're like,
I saw it and I was like, oh, this has to be like doctored or something. This cannot be real. And then when I kept seeing people's like reaction posts, I had to take a beat. I genuinely had to I had to put my phone down.
Yeah.
Step away because I genuinely felt my blood, my heart rate go up because this is real. This is not. And I was trying to explain to my sisters and like my mom, and they were like, "What are you talking? Like, what? They're so not online in the way that I am."
Yeah.
So it was a lot. I don't know. I'm still trying to process it a day later, especially with the ceasefire that happened. So
It's crazy because I mean I've talked about this before on my personal Instagram, but like
yeah,
what you got in that post was, aside from everything, we'll get into the other Iran stuff in a bit, but what you got in that post was the president of the United States explicitly giving genocidal intent.
Yeah.
Which is like, for the like people who don't know what that is, it's like if you want to prove genocide, this is why I've talked about this before, like if, you know, South Africa is taking Israel to the International Court of Justice, they're trying to prove genocide. One of the things that they're struggling with or that they really, really have to prove is genocidal intent.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to wipe out Palestinians, right? The president of the United States literally went on his social media application and was like,
unilaterally said,
yeah,
I'm going to wipe out an entire civilization. I don't.
you know, what's like you have Israeli ministers who have basically said that about Palestinians, but they haven't like so explicitly to the entire world. Like you have to catch them in their various like little like speeches and meetings and things that they do. But this man was like, yeah, let me just wipe out. Sorry, not 1 million people, not 2 million, 90+ million. Like what? And that's insane. But on the flip side, like, because he's saying that, like, we all know that he's not going to do it naturally, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that he would even say that is like, there's
felt
no
like-
standards anymore.
but
You
I-
can say anything.
No, but I mean, I even had some friends who aren't even the most politically inclined
Yeah.
text me saying, I am genuinely scared.
Yeah.
So I can't even say that he wasn't. It genuinely felt like I was in this, like we were in the Twilight Zone yesterday.
Yeah.
Like a good like 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
And again, I do want to say, like, I had friends who are not politically engaged text me saying, what is your read? I'm fucking scared. What's going on?
Yeah.
And that kind of put it into perspective because
Yeah.
this, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, actually. That's why that's such a meta thing to say as I'm on a podcast.
No,
but
we're all listening to podcasts
Yeah.
and we're all on podcasts. It's fine.
this was like, it's giving Cuba Missile Crisis.
Oh,
It's giving Cuba
literally.
Missile Crisis. That's what I was so
stop.
no, guys.
It's literally what it's giving. Yeah.
I had to I numbed out for by 5 p.m. Pacific time. I was numbed out. I was I'm call the House switchboard. I don't know. Call the congressional switchboard. It's insane.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would say if you were someone at home who is not doesn't really follow politics too closely, you'd see something like that and you would go we're going holy shit, because it's an insane thing to say, period. People at home probably are going, holy shit, are they gonna do it? Was this mean a huge escalation in terms of their military activity? And this is followed by another Truth Social post, I think was it 2 days ago at this point? I don't, all the days are blurring together, but where he said oh, we're gonna attack the bridges and the energy infrastructure, to which he's just giving these constantly more escalated tone of in terms of what military action the U.S. is going to take. People are probably oh shit, okay, this is going to happen. I think for those of us who been following this stuff and have a background in IR and have been in this stuff for a long time, we know that when Trump talks like that, or when anyone really talks like that, odds are they're not going to do anything. He's not going to ever actually escalate to such a drastic degree. That would be nuclear war levels. So that kind of, I guess that's the part that I would be when he says crazy things like that, I would take a beat, relax, don't stress. He's not gonna do any of that. And lo and behold, what we got how many hours later was a ceasefire.
Yeah.
After he said, yeah, I'm gonna completely bomb you into oblivion. Yeah, no, and he immediately gave a ceasefire that was basically, I guess it's being fully.
Question before you go on with, I'm curious to know, because I genuinely do think that he would. I genuinely do think he would have gone further. I don't know if it's just the very skeptical. I mean, just given the current conditions that we're seeing in real time and seeing what this country has aided and embedded in, the active genocide in Palestine, and the levels of just, I personally, when I saw that Truth Social post, I was genuinely scared. I would have not been so skeptical of him not doing it. I think he would.
Okay.
I think this is a very deranged man. I think he would, but
this is what I will give to the situation. See, I do have a stutter. I told you. Be prepared to hear that stutter very often.
No worries.
What I was gonna say is the reality of this entire war in Iran, this entire time, has been whatever is actually happening on the ground. The U.S. government is saying the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. How many times have they come out and said, we have achieved total and complete regime change? No, you haven't. Mm-hmm. We have completely obliterated Iran's military capabilities. No, you haven't. Not even kind of close. Not even kind of a little bit.
They're losing this war. I feel like I've been seeing people say this.
They've been losing this war. They've been losing this war. And it's kind of crazy. Everything that Iran is begging us to negotiate. The Iranian officials will come out and be like, we actually, not only are not begging them, we don't want to negotiate. They've been trying to negotiate with us. So it's everything that's coming out of Trump's mouth, Hegset's mouth, Rubio's mouth is just a complete and utter lie. Yeah. Because the situation on the ground is so bad. And this has been such an incredibly both strategic and military blunder, more or less so. And embarrassingly, they did it completely just for Israel. They have to more or less so
try to save face.
Yeah, save face. Yeah. Basically front something is working in their favor when absolutely nothing is working in their favor. And again, it's if you are in a position where you can say something yep, tomorrow we're gonna bomb the living shit out of Iran's bridges, so their civilian infrastructure, their energy infrastructure, and then we're going to obliterate the entire civilization. Oh, and at the same time, we're actually going to agree to the ceasefire on their 10 terms or whatever, this temporary ceasefire, this momentary ceasefire that's going to be
But
further
Israel
negotiated.
already broke already with Lebanon.
Yeah. Like that is a government that is absolutely losing and is just trying to save face. It's trying to save face.
I think the way that I see it is like the U.S. or Trump just like flailing. He's just flailing right now.
Yeah.
What an embarrassment.
I know.
It's a deep embarrassment.
I would add
just-
what I would add specifically about the U.S. government and their handling of this war in Iran, beyond just what this means for domestic politics and oil, which we'll get into in a second. But you have demonstrated to the world, like you've already demonstrated to the world for the last year that you are unreliable. Like whatever people thought was going on with sanctions, in terms of like the sanctions were demonstrating to not only allies but every other country on earth that the U.S. is not a reliable partner in any way whatsoever. Like in fact, if anything, you need to distance yourselves from them as much as possible, which is literally what Canada is doing.
Yeah.
Your closest ally is like, okay, China. Let's be friends. Okay, EU, let's be friends. That's what Canada's doing right now. But so you demonstrated that with sanctions. Then with this war, you demonstrated that not only are you unreliable, you are utterly deranged. Like deranged on, first of all, your actions, what you're doing, but also on the fact that you would like go about this completely useless, senseless war at the behest of a foreign power and completely throw the global energy markets into like a shit show. Like you're talking about like when Trump is saying, hey, we're gonna, bomb Iran's energy infrastructure, and Iran is holding back all the oil going through the Strait of Hormuz. Like that's not insignificant. That is about 20% of the world's oil supply. Oil and natural gas, liquefied natural gas. Like that impacts the entire world. That's not just, like the Western hemisphere or just the Eastern hemisphere. That is the entire world. So you're demonstrating to all these other countries like, hey, not only are we just unreliable for trade, we're literally turning the global energy market upside down and causing endless problems for every other country in the world, all for no reason. Like all for utterly no gain. We didn't win anything in this war. Like we didn't win. We didn't get a single strategic advantage. Like nothing has been achieved.
And I think what is also to continue what you're saying about the oil stuff, we haven't even seen what the grocery shock of this is going to be. Like the groceries, like what's our lives are still not feeling the full impact of this. I mean, yes, we're seeing gas prices be insanely high. I just paid like $6.29 for a gallon here in LA.
Insane.
I am it is really bad right now, but the Strait doesn't just carry oil, it carries a third of the world's traded fertilizer.
Yeah.
So that means with no fertilizer on time, it means smaller harvests. And smaller harvests mean higher food prices. But we're not feeling those effects right now. We're gonna feel those effects literally maybe like perhaps in June. Like that grocery shock, your prices for your groceries are going to continue to go higher. Yeah. And we haven't even seen the full brunt of that yet. Yeah. So if you're already feeling the insane prices with gas, even thinking about having to put gas into my car is like giving me anxiety right now because I cannot be spending $6.29 on a gallon for gas. I don't know. I'm gonna crash out, and I'm based here in LA. I'm based here in LA, so it's. Yeah.
Basically, what's going on with the ceasefire? Iran had 10 points. They had 10 points that they wanted to address in terms of what they wanted to see happen in the ceasefire. It was a maximalist position. Like, if you look up these 10 points, this is like Iran's best case scenario. But yeah, Pakistan is brokering those negotiations right now. Yeah. And so I guess we'll see what'll come out of that. There's no way, of course, naturally, that Iran will get all 10 of their points. But taking a maximalist position is pretty funny and pretty great. I think that it makes complete sense that they should do that.
Okay, so we're going to pivot towards the Michigan U.S. Senate race. For folks who are not tapped in, Abdul El-Sayed is the Progressive Movement candidate. Mallory McMurrow, establishment, coded, throwing tomatoes. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, she's just like in the middle of the ground, kind of like, I guess, sure, maybe the libs will vote for her. She's very lib-coded, like very liberal Zionist type thing. And then you have Haley Stevens, who's just like a AIPAC, please give me money candidate, which, every race is going to have one of those. So that's the field.
Yeah. And, before we go into like the actual race itself, I just want to say that if you are not tapping into this Senate race, you should. Everyone should, because this is not just a Senate race. It's a literal diagnosis for where the Democrats are headed these next few years. Every tension that has existed in the Democratic Party, or since every tension that they've been avoiding since November 2024, is on the ballot in this primary.
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and just put that out there for folks who are not fully tapped in. Please get tapped in. And let's talk about Abdul Al-Sayed, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, we love Abdul.
Yeah, I think he's
Abdul
doing,
fans.
Yeah, I think he's doing really just his entire platform, right? It's Medicare for all. It's focusing on affordability. It's focusing on unpopular policies. And he truly is listening to the electorate.
Yeah, he's big thing is he refuses to take any super PAC money, which is like, that's huge. And that's what gets you the Bernie endorsement. He had the Bernie endorsement, or sorry, has the Bernie endorsement. And that's like, to me, it's almost the, like, I think we were saying earlier, it's like the litmus test nowadays for what is the real progressive candidate anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just that you're, like flailing around like, oh, I care about healthcare and whatnot, which is what Mallory McMurrow is doing. It's I'm Medicare for all. I am not taking super PAC money, and I am pro-Palestine.
Yeah.
Period. Like, we're not negotiating on those terms. So when we say he's the real progressive candidate, that's why. When we say the Democratic Party is struggling with its identity and this inner tension, what we're specifically referring to is now, especially after October 7th, there is a significant progressive wing of the Democratic Party.
Huge progressive wing.
Yeah, both in terms of the people who are winning elections, but also in the voter base. And we saw that in Michigan when Kamala didn't win Michigan. She didn't win Michigan because she did not come out as pro-Palestine. She did not come out against
genocide,
and also like sending continuous arms to Israel. So when we say the Democratic Party is struggling with identity, what we're specifically referring to is it wants to keep doing the old thing that it's always been doing. It wants to keep being pro-Israel, pro-corporate PAC money.
Trying to continue towing the line. But they're not really trying to actually confront these tensions specifically. And what I mean by these tensions is the donor tension, the war tension, the class tension, and just even like the generational tension. I think what I appreciate a lot about Abdul Sayed is just the ways in which he really acknowledges what Democrats have refused to acknowledge, which again is very, very crazy. This idea that affordability and popular policies are just that, they're popular. When you have working class voters who are literally raising flags about their groceries and their gas prices, things that everyday Americans are being impacted by, and you have Democratic strategists and these consultants and frankly candidates like Mallory McMurrow just completely glossing over that and trying to still toe the line with their corporate donors. Yeah, I love that Abdul's like, fuck that.
Yeah,
fuck that. I think you have to acknowledge all of these tensions, be it the class tension, generational tension, the electability tension, all these tensions in the Democratic Party that you would have assumed that Democrats would have taken stock of and said, okay, how can we rework our party? How can we meet the moment? They're not doing that. They're giving us the Mallory McMurrows of the fucking world. Yeah. We don't want that. But I also think there's like a generational tension that's almost never really spoken about, the ways in which the Democratic Party has lost young men in particular at a scale that should terrify literally all of us. And I just think it just lacks a certain sense of vision. Yeah. Like when you completely are running this platform on the defense, not really speaking to the actual grievances and anxieties that working class voters are thinking about, like Medicare for all, right? Like when it comes to Abdul Sayed, is he still able to keep in touch with the everyday bread and butter issues that working class voters are actively want to see reflected in their electeds? Yeah. And so I think that's what I find really, really like refreshing about him. And so I just love that he doesn't give into the whole consultant corporate Democratic speak. He can just speak to the affordability issues. And that's what I really hate about, hate is a very strong word, but what I really, really am so annoyed and just confused about the Democratic consulting class and people like Mallory McMurrow is that voters are not stupid. Voters know what it is that resonates with them and their communities. And we should not be underestimating popular policies. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I completely agree. Like it's kind of funny because he's literally a gym bro. Like the guy posts himself going to the gym like all the time, and it's like, Yeah, like this is pretty much what people want out of their political candidates nowadays. Like the right seems to understand that. They seem to get that. Like they literally ran Trump, who's said God knows on what the most insane things I've ever heard and still won. And it comes back to this thing that someone said to me years and years and years ago, and we'll get into this conversation a bit more. But the candidate that ends up winning is almost always the candidate that like you look at and you're like, yeah, like I want to have a beer with him or her. Like that's the candidate I want to have. Like I'd sit down at a bar and have a beer with.
It's like, why do Democrats struggle so hard just to run a candidate who's like, who can just like speak to that humanity part?
It's
like,
a normal person.
A normal fucking person.
Yeah, like someone I'd hang out with. Like,
yeah, I mean, why is that so hard?
And to that point, what I'd say is like, and where I feel like this conversation is naturally going, which we want to talk about anyway, which is the Democrats still somehow fail to understand. And this is not just the Democrats. This is any kind of like corporate, liberal, centrist party anywhere in the world. The liberals in Canada are the same thing, where they don't understand what makes an electable candidate in today's day and age. Yeah, like what do people want to see out of a candidate that they want to represent them? And that's why the right has really been able to capture this vacuum of a lack of understanding by the Democrats of the kind of candidates that they need to run, the kind of policies that they need to run, and just completely destroy them, like elections over and over. And that's how you saw the rise of right-wing fascism. You know what I mean? So I think that these things are really, really important. And I think that this campaign is kind of like a manifestation of that. And like I'll literally say the beer thing again, like where Democrats haven't understood that time and time again is like, if you are the average person, you're not, like people who are super, let's say left-wing progressive will always vote blue no matter who, that type of thing. If you're the average person in the United States of America, you are faced with sit down and have a beer with Hillary Clinton or sit down and have a beer with Donald Trump. And it's 2016. The average person is picking Donald Trump. Like if you're sit down and have a beer with Kamala Harris or sit down and have a beer with Donald Trump, you're also again picking Donald Trump. Yeah. If you're sit down and have a beer with Zoran Mamdani or sit down and have a beer with Andrew Cuomo, you are always picking Zoran Mamdani. Because like, and it just like that goes to show like there are so many aspects of this that work towards electability, which we can get into now. Cause like policy is a big portion of it, but it's also like, how much do you seem like the everyday average person? Like how much do you present yourself as that as well?
Yeah. And I think it's also just a matter of like, what is your like theory of change? Like speaking on Zoran Mamdani, like he had a very explicit and very disciplined theory of change. Candidates have to have a vision that goes beyond just fighting Trump. Yeah. It has to be a vision of what am I going to do to make sure that stressors in your life are alleviated? Yeah. How can I help you afford your groceries? Yeah. And I think that's the kind of theory of change that is deeply lacking in the Democratic Party, and we're not really seeing that. We're seeing people who are positioning themselves as if they're going to fight Trump, and it's like you're going to have to appeal to a far bigger pressing issues than just Trump, because Trump is a symptom. Yeah, he's not the absolute pinnacle of what's wrong with this country. He's a symptom. Yeah, and so that's my take. Yeah, but I do agree. The charisma part matters a lot. Yeah. Populists on both spectrums tend to have charisma in common, and they can speak to those specific popular issues. So, sorry, go on. Can I
add? Just I'm not going to fully interrupt your point. I just want to add, like, Obama is also the one you'd want to sit down and have a beer with. Like it almost like it doesn't even have to be like a populism equals charisma thing. It can be like in general, like charisma of a candidate is one thing that matters. Yeah. Like Obama was a centrist. Yeah. Obama was a liberal. You know what I mean? Like, and I would still have a beer with him. So it's like, anyway, just to your point, I wasn't trying to say like it's only the centrists that have that. Yeah. But that have that quality. Sorry, only the populists that have that quality.
Yeah. But it's just that like likability quality. Yeah. It's that quality of, you want to see more diversity in political spaces. Yeah, diversity can mean folks who come from marginalized backgrounds, but also economic diversity. Yeah. Because that's what we're seeing right now. There is a huge rejection of the consulting class, neolib coded Democratic candidates. Mallory McMurrow falls in that specific, that is what she is. Yeah. And she is not brave enough in the same way that Abdul Al-Sayed is saying, we have to address these tensions if we actually want to win elections, moving forward. Yeah.
Can I like just go off a point you made on not offering an alternative? Because like that's like a massive part of what it is. Like the Democratic Party is Republican light, basically, at this
Yeah.
point. It's like and to be fair, that's the reason why they don't fight back significantly on a chunk of this stuff that Trump does. Like, for example, the war in Iran.
Yeah.
They're not fighting back because they're like, we don't actually mind. Like, we're not like, are we even really opposed? And so to that point, it's like they never have offered any kind of significant alternative to any of the shitty things that Trump has done.
Yeah.
And so what will people do? They will let the right fill that vacuum. Like
Yeah.
you're at the end of the day, like Trump, okay, this is what you have. Let's draw out the field, like, and we can color it in. But what you have is on the right, Trump is going like, you're suffering. Trump. Right-wing movements everywhere are going like, okay, you, the people, are suffering. It's because of immigrants. It's because of people of color. It's because of XYZ reason.
Yeah.
They're at least giving people, well, this is why you're suffering. Vote for me and I'll get rid of your problems. Democrats are like hardly even acknowledging that people are suffering.
Because if they were to acknowledge it, it would completely unravel their entire just working,
Yeah.
operating, everything.
Yeah.
Everything would have to be dismantled. Everything would have to be interrogated.
Yeah.
Down to NAFTA, which completely gutted the Midwest, down to the fact that you have white union workers who have historically voted Democrat are now running towards the right.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to fully interrupt you, but I do think
don't worry.
I do think your point about offering no vision, like you said, when there was no vision that's given to us by the Democratic Party,
Yeah.
the right is going to step in and they're going to provide their evil vision as like the source for change. And the Democrats, they don't have a fucking theory of change. What is your theory of change?
Well, that's because they're not about anything.
They're not about anything.
Like,
They're only about defeating Trump. That's it. But it's like, what are you trying to give to constituents?
Well, this is like, oh my God, like how I feel like we've had this conversation so many times. I feel like everyone is having this conversation all the time now. But it's like, this is why the center, liberalism, liberals in the traditional term, have become obsolete. It's like, okay, so we've had liberalism. We've had the liberal world order, quote unquote, people call it, for how many years now? We've had neoliberalism thriving, doing exactly what it's supposed to do for the last, oh my God, it's actually been like 35 years.
1970s.
Yeah, like
Keynesianism phased out and then
how
1970s.
many decades at this point? And what do we have? Like material conditions of working people all over the world are just worse and worse as time goes on. So clearly, liberalism has not worked out for people. What does that leave? It leaves a massive vacuum. When the Democrats are not offering any kind of progressive left-wing alternative, who fills that vacuum? The right, with fascism. Like, it's so clear and so simple. And sometimes I sit there and I wonder, and I'm like, they're not stupid. They must see this. They must know. They just clearly don't care, because when you're not about anything as a political party, which the Democrats are not, when you're not about anything, when you don't have anything that you actually like want to do for the country, do for the people, you don't really offer any kind of vision, more or less so. You're just really there to take corporate money, get candidates elected who then, become rich because they're a sitting representative in the House and they can play the stock market how they want. And do you know what I mean? Like there's no cause.
I truly wonder how many of these mainstream centrist Democrats have actually had a single conversation with a constituent and really genuinely have been able to empathize with their plight.
Yeah.
I'm working class. I grew up low income. I still have family members who live in public housing. I was using SNAP benefits when I was in college, when I was at UCLA. There is a huge economic, I would even say, like, lack of economic diversity within political spaces. Like, you don't see people who have come up the ranks, who've been able to work in politics or be adjacent in these spaces, who actually know what the fuck is going on, like, on the ground, on the field. Like, that disconnection, I think, has directly caused this this just out of touchness. Like, I listen to Abdul Al-Sayed and I'm like, you get it.
Yeah.
You get it. Mallory McMurrow is like too busy, like, I don't know, bullying or dragging Hassan Piker. I'm like, girl, get with the fucking picture.
No, literally.
Like, what are your priorities right now?
Yeah.
Like, I just paid $6.29 for gas here in LA. Like, I could give two fucks about what you think about Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
Like, are you not seeing the state of the world right
Like
now?
who even is like, no, sorry, not to be like who even is Hassan Piker, but like for anyone who's under like anyone who's over the age of like 30, who even is that? You know what I mean? Like it's so silly and it's so irrelevant and it's just so
unserious.
like
It's unserious.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like Logan Roy. These are deeply unserious people.
These are deeply unserious people.
Deeply unserious.
If you couldn't tell.
I feel like I'm a cat right now with like their airplane ears, but I'm like with my eyebrows, like deeply unserious.
Yeah, deeply. No, but it's actually true, and it's really really sad because all it results in time and time again, if they don't get it, and this is why like pushing these progressive candidates and trying to get them elected is so critical because they're really the only way to save ourselves from right-wing fascism in this country.
Yeah.
Like there's no like the Democrats are not going to save you from right-wing fascism. The
No.
Democrats
They
are
can't even stand on
enabling
something.
it.
I'm just like they're aiding and actively abetting.
Yeah. They're like sitting by while it's going on and being like, oh yeah, we're writing a really strongly worded letter and we'll post that on Twitter tomorrow.
I've had it with the letters. I've had it.
We've all had it with the letters.
Thank you guys for listening. We're really just excited for what this pod brings. And this was just the first episode of this pod. So
Yeah.
please stick around. Any thoughts, Marina?
We're gonna be here and we're gonna be yapping away and we have so many thoughts. We also have like so many girl thoughts. So, you know.
A lot of girl thoughts.
Might mix some of that in. But if you have any thoughts of your own, leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Signing off.
Bye.